Adam Borics, how's it going, man?
Hey man, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I appreciate you taking the time to come on here.
No worries, no worries. My pleasure.
Well, it's your first time on Empire Universe Media, so welcome, man.
Thank you, man.
So I gotta ask, I know you're down in Florida over there. So what's the weather like?
I moved to Florida like 4.5 years ago with my wife. So most of the time I am here. I was planning always to just come here to camp, but I'm always in camp. So I came back like second week of October, and since that time I'm training full time. So it's just my lifestyle.
Well, it seemed like it kind of just made sense to just move there and be there full time versus just visiting and just training for so many months for camps, right?
Yeah, so before I moved here, I didn't know too much about really the MMA, but I became a full martial artist now.
hmm Well, and I understand that like you kind of had the whole like Kempo background. So kind of going rewinding here, what kind of prompted your decision to get into MMA in the first place?
In Hungary, not too many MMA fighters like pro fighters living, so it was make sense for me to move here. And when I came here first time, I was like, damn, this is what I want to be. Be around the best fighters on the world. So it was just like I just enjoy the process. Everything just happened like quick, and look, we are here now, main event.
Well, and I do want to get to that. But speaking more about growing up in Hungary, I mean, you kind of talked about how MMA's not a big thing there. But what would I don't know much about Hungary, so what's probably the biggest combat sport that's developing there?
Hungary always been good in Greco-Roman wrestling. We have always medals from Olympic Games, and which is big things because we are like 10 million people, and we had a couple of good boxers, judo guys, but in MMA it wasn't so popular now because of me. It's very very popular. Much more young guys started to learn mixed martial arts, but it's a long journey, so I can say I am the first who put Hungary on the map. So I'm really proud of I am from Hungary, and I really love my country, and I really miss it. So but just like it's a work time for me now.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I know you've had talks about, having a title run and hopefully you get that title shot soon, you win the belt. Should you win that belt, do you have plans to, not to go too far, but do you have plans to kind of bring it back to Hungary, bring it back home? Would you?
Yeah, definitely. I wanna win that bet for my country, not just for myself. It's crazy, but I am almost homesick every day. So I love to train here and being here, but I really miss my country and my family. I really I couldn't join to my friend's wedding and a couple of those things. Christmas are here. So it's a lot of sacrifice, but it's part of the game.
You spoke earlier about, you've had a chance to be in Florida a couple times prior, just training. But what was probably the biggest obstacle you had to go through transitioning from living in somewhere like Hungary to going all the way to Florida full time?
So when I moved here, I couldn't speak English at all, like nothing. So it was really hard for me. My wife, she always told me like, go hang out with the guys, but I felt bad because I couldn't speak. So I wasn't like, confident to speaking with the guys. But my biggest help was my wife because she moved with me here, and it was a big, 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 big help for me.
Well, I gotta say, I think your English is better than mine, man. So you're doing really, really well.
Thank you, sir.
Talking about your career so far, I mean, you're 17-1. Only loss is really against Caldwell. I mean,
Yeah.
how to explain like where the success comes from? Is it just the hard work? Is it your team?
I mean, I think nobody works harder than me. I know a lot of people saying that, but I really know nobody works harder than me. And even if I'm not in camp, if I don't have a fight, I train like who has a camp. So I just not, I can see a lot of guys who trains here out of camp, they are eating shit, and this is just my lifestyle now. And I'm lucky because my wife, she's on the same, we are eating healthy. I try to get good recovery. So I'm always looking for how can I get better. And I think this is just the secret. I think it's a Eastern European mentality. It's different. We are horse. We can work.
Well, a totally different breed over there in Europe.
Yes.
Over there, that's there's no question there. But moving forward, I mean, talking about like so I think it was Bellator 250 post-fight interview. You talked about you wanted 2021 to kind of be like the whole title run. You've had some fights. I understand. You pretty much had a fight booked with JJ in 2021. Obviously, didn't go through, him missing weight. But now that you've got another fight booked with Mads, I mean, you're both ranked number 2 in the featherweight division. This would appear to be like a title eliminator. Did Bellator give you any assurance that you're going to get the title shot next if you do win?
Yeah, it is like that. I'm supposed to fight in December. I cannot talk about too much, but a lot of things changed. So I was like, just give me a fight. I want to fight. I don't want to wait anymore. So, but I mean, who should I fight next? Not if not for a title. I always fought the guys who are behind me because Jeremy Kennedy was behind me, JJ Wilson was behind me. I mean, we didn't fight, but I made a risk always. So who should I fight next if not for the title?
Well, with the rankings how they are, I mean, I think you've kind of said it. I mean, with you and Mads being in the same
Like
ranking.
so far, like number 2. What the hell is that?
Yeah. Did Bellator kind of explain why that was? I've never really seen that before.
No, I didn't also. I just don't care. I
It's
just want to.
it's the next opponent you just want to fight.
Yeah.
Like in seeing that you were both in around that same rankings, did you have a feeling that was the matchup that they're going to give you?
No, I wasn't, but I was like, I want to fight. So like a couple of weeks ago, I was number 2, he was number 3, and they just moved him to number 2. So it was like, it's okay. But I was like, yeah, if Pitbull and AJ gonna fight, who should I fight next? Who is the guy behind me, Mads Burnell? And I was like, okay, I can take that fight. Just give me a.
Yeah, and I guess like Mads Burnell, he's been on a tear like yourself in Bellator rankings. I mean, you guys are both on the same path here. So does this kind of get you more excited for the fight?
I mean, I think me and Mads Burnell, we are very underestimated on the world. I think we are both great fighters, and I'm happy to compete against like these high level guys. I don't want to fight the guy who is like, I don't know, 4-3 or something. So I want to fight against the best on the world. I really know I am one of the best in the world, and I just want to show my skill set.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, looking at his record, looking at your record of how you both have finished fights in the recent comings, what can we expect to see from this fight?
You know, he has a good head movement and good jiu-jitsu. He's coming forward, and but I can just see, you know, finish him in second or third round or fourth round. He's a great fighter, but nothing special for me. I think he doesn't have like that good takedowns. My I'm definitely, you know, I'm gonna be a striker forever. But in the last couple of months, I totally changed. I feel very confident, and I really know I am one of the best 145er on the world and one of the strongest 145er.
And you know, looking obviously with you pretty much having the next chance at the title, I mean, them guaranteeing you that fight, presuming that you know you come out of the fight unscathed, how much time would you like to prepare for your next fight? Would are you looking at summer, fall?
I would fight like I mean, I think Pitbull and then AG they targeting April, so nothing confirmed yet. So I think in October or November, it's good because so I was a little bit fucked up because I was preparing for I'm gonna fight in December. So I was in camp since October. So it's really long time, and I wanna go back to Hungary a little bit, like 2 3 months. I mean, I'm gonna train there also, but I wanna make like for a title fight like 10 weeks camp, you know. So we will see, but if it's end of summer or later, I'm good with that.
And for yourself, I know you know you've talked very respectfully to your opponent, but do you have kind of a message for him, Bellator, and your upcoming fight?
Nah, not really, you know. I am always respectful, and if the guy is respectful also. So, but if my opponent is asshole, I wouldn't be nice. But he never said something bad about me, and he looks like a nice guy, you know. He's European, so just I'm happy European fighters on the mainstream, you know.
Excellent, excellent. You know, big fight today or tonight. You know, you got Israel Adesanya and Robert Whitaker. Are you going to be watching the fight?
Of course, I mean, I'm always planning to watch that, but when I'm in camp, you know, I want to sleep early, so maybe I'm not gonna wait end of the event. But I'm definitely gonna watch the fights because three of my teammates are fighting, so I'm gonna watch them, and we will see. Maybe I fall to sleep around 11, so I don't think so. I'm gonna see the main event.
Yeah, it's very difficult to really stay up and commit
Oh
to
yeah.
something like that. Just as in talking about it as a fan, like definitely. But that being said, if you don't watch the fight though, who would you have in that matchup or in that rematch?
I mean, Israel, team my protein, brother.
Yeah, and I think like it's definitely a great matchup, and I think a lot of people talk about it being closer than the last fight. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's going to result the same way?
I think in the same way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think with Whitaker's chin, it's been tested so many times, and he does
Yeah,
tend to get dropped a lot. So we're gonna have to see how that
yeah,
all.
but
So
I'm sure he is very motivated because it is his last chance to become a champion. But Israel looks me more fresh, you know. I think it is his prime time, and he's on the top now, mentally and physically also.
perfect, perfect. Well, you said it all, man. Adam, it was a pleasure having you on here, and
Thank
I appreciate you taking the time to come on here and talk about your upcoming fight. You know, good luck, and
you.
and we'll talk again soon. Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir, bro.